I have videos that you guys can watch back in March, April, early on when before you really even it got here, but definitely once the whole COVID hysteria got over to America. And I talked about a lot of this, and I have predictions or things that I said would happen that ended up happening that people called me a conspiracy theorist for saying this. Some of y'all are actually in the chat and in my comment section. You just kind of happen to, okay, you got it wrong. You conceded, and then that's what it's all about. I have people from different political ideologies that follow me. I'd rather you get it later than never. A lot of people early on abandon their principles, but welcome back. But one thing in particular that I talked about was how, obviously using this to encroach on people's, invade, impede on people's freedom, rights, was going to be on the top of the list, as they'll never let a crisis go to waste. This is something that we have seen governments around the world do over the course of human history. So it should have been easy to predict it. But some people mention the whole idea of the vaccine passport, which we talked about last show, talked about previous segments that have been uploaded. But what I mentioned was that you're probably not going to get, because some people looked at the vaccine and said that, well, maybe they'll go to just forcing you to get it. And I said, considering the logistics of what they would have to do, and that being nearly impossible, it's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely that they would do that. But what they would do was come up with ways to leverage public areas, businesses, and pressure them so that effectively the mandate might not be direct. Like, it might not be a vaccine mandate, but effectively it would be similar. It just wouldn't be like, okay, we're going to round you up if you don't have it. It's more of, you're going to be severely inconvenienced. And y'all called me a conspiracy theorist for saying that they would do that. Blue check marks on Twitter are being open with it now, right? They kind of hid their mask authoritarianism. And it's funny how, a lot of folks that are anti-fascist seem to adopt this whole corporate merge of state and corporate and state merger, which is what fascism is. Fascism, for the millionth time, is not right wingers doing bad things that you don't like. That's not what fascism is. But blue check mark by the name of Harry Litman. He is a LA Times legal affairs columnist, former U.S. attorney, DOJ official, and he teaches law, I guess constitutional law. This is what he said. Vaccines are a good idea. Vaccine passports are a good idea, he says. Among other things, it will single out the still large contingent of people who refuse vaccines, who will be foreclosed from doing a lot of things their peers can do. That should help break the resistance down. Sounds a lot like what I just said would happen. And they're using it in the way that I said they would use it, and which got me called a conspiracy theorist. Because I said they'll put pressure and make it very difficult for you to navigate. Vaccine passport allows them to do it. So it's like, well, we're not forcing you. We're not mandating that you get the vaccine. You just can't do certain things that you would need to do unless you had it and you had the passport to prove it. So what it does is it's extortion, right? It's coercion is what it is, in which they have to say, okay, I'm not going to do it, like force you to do it. I'm just going to make it nearly impossible. And then you'll do it yourself. It's hand over the loot type situation. But you call me a conspiracy theorist, as blue check marks are now saying that that's what should be happening. That's what they're blatantly advocating for. Interesting. A lot of y'all have egg on your face due to this pandemic. That's not anything to be ashamed of, only if you're still thinking that, okay, after a year of this bull crap, that, and as more stuff happens that we said would happen, a lot of us predicted would happen, because we just understand the nature of the state, and you called us crazy for it, you called us conspiracy theorists for it, oh, it's just 15 days slow to spread, and now we're talking about vaccine passports. Interesting. It's almost like it wasn't a conspiracy theory at all. It was just what was going to happen because we know how this works. You should be ashamed of yourself only if you don't get it now, after a year. And then I think we've forgiven you. You had the allotted time to figure this out, and you're just being hard-headed at this point, or you're just an evil son of a bitch. And many of you are evil son of a bitches. And let's just call you what exactly you are. But we're well beyond this idea that, well, if you are against this and you don't support the state impeding on or somehow encroaching on your rights, right? Well, you're a conspiracy theorist. See, when it comes back to the vaccine passport, and this is how also some things that I want to add and how they'll do it. It's kind of like what they did with the vaccine. You know, they playing with money that ain't theirs, right? Why do you think they're able to get away with this? Why do you think you look at, again, that merge of corporate and state, which is what effectively what it is. That's what fascism is. Not effectively, is what it is. Nothing, everything in, nothing out. And you sit here and wonder, like, wow, why would they? And then you follow the money. Oh, millions, billions of dollars are going to this company, would be the pharmaceutical companies. Joe Biden or the state of New York, or Joe Biden wants to, talking about working with maybe IBM, working with a tech company to make this happen. So the tech company's like, we're going to get it. We're going to get $1 billion just making this happen. See, those are ways that they incentivize this bull crap. And then again, we see the brunt of it, or we feel the brunt of it as just regular people. This is stuff that we said. This is exactly what we said would happen. The Bears are who we thought they were. This is the year, and I've said this, and you heard me say this on The Blaze. The lovely Sarah Gonzalez has confirmed this. It's just been the year of me, the libertarian, because everything for the most part that I said would happen is happening. And I've been saying, I'm not one of those guys who just says things just for shock value. That's not who it is that I am. I'm giving it to you straight. There's no agenda here aside from I want to spread liberty, but I don't have to lie to do that. I don't have to make stuff up. Let's just call it what it is. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.